There's the 8:30. Good morning, all. I'm going to call our October council meeting to order. If you would, please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. First thing on our agenda is our auditor's financial report. Bob.
Okay, let me get down here.
Scrolling.
Yeah, I don't have a scroll bar, so I... Okay. This is in your packet. The financial statement is the first thing in there, and as of October the 1st. Our cash balance when we started the year was $50,823,611. When you add in the projected miscellaneous revenue and the net property tax, and 97% of the levy, our total funds available were $68,694,807. When you deduct the encumbrances, the 2022 budget, and the minimum balance, and then add back in the 2% of estimated unused 2022 budget, our net balance at the beginning of the year was $3,990,029 for the general fund. We've approved additional appropriations of $124,249 so far this year. There are $82,964 of requests for this meeting here. And when you deduct the miscellaneous expenditures, our funds available as of right now are $3,830,244. Moving down into the revenue summary, I don't have a lot of any of my financial stuff. There's kind of a calm month before we get into the end of the year storm. But under the revenue, the 0123, the state gaming, this is riverboat money that goes to the non-riverboat counties. We receive that money. There was a little bit that we received from 21 that we received early in 22. So this isn't all just that, but we did get $365,734.31 is what we have so far this year, which is a little bit higher than our estimate. And we had estimated a little bit lower just because this is distributed within the county based on population at the latest census, and so thinking that maybe we would lose a little bit of the census compared to like Lafayette and West Lafayette. But anyway, so, and also in my revenue report, I did add in the 2023 approved revenue line so you can see where we're at there. Under the 0410, the miscellaneous revenue under the county sheriff, we received a bulk of that money is from TSC for the resource officer at the schools, so we do have a lot more there than what we had anticipated. I think that's all I had on the revenue. Under the fund balances, the general fund, of course, we have $7.3 million ending balance. And so that's about where we should be. We're going to be lower because property tax obviously comes in December. I think the only other one that I noted here was under self-insurance, the 4710. We are over $10 million there, and then we do have the $2 million of the rainy day fund. So that is, worlds above our minimum balance of $500,000. I believe that is all I had. But if there's any questions.
Are there any questions for Bob? Hearing none, we'll move on to our treasurer's report. Jennifer?
Good morning. Interest for September was $311,163.36. September 22nd, the Fed funds rate went up another 0.75%, so we had about 9 days there of increased rate, making our average for the month at 2.63. But as we sit for October, our primary bank interest rate is 3.35. On the next page, you can see then how the that interest rate has grown quite a bit and show the increase in the interest on the bank accounts. Investments are still just kind of holding steady. The longer term rates aren't showing quite the increase yet, so we still have kept a lot of our money liquid at this point. I didn't have anything on the fund distribution, although if you look at the general fund, we're at just over $1 million there. I foresee that the next 3 months will earn at least $200,000 per month, which would put us at an estimate of $1.6 million for the general fund. On the last page, then, I actually, a little bit more conservative approach, but I said 1,575 is what we should be able to hit by the end of the year for the general fund. So, unless there are any questions, that was all I had for this month. We're
Any questions for Jennifer?
gearing up for the property tax collection.
All right.
so.
Thank you, Jennifer. Next up, we have time for public comment about any of our agenda items that we're having this morning. If there is no public comment about agenda items, we have our consent agenda, which includes the meeting minutes from our budget hearings, both in August and our meeting in September, and then also our special meeting the end of last month as well. Are there any items there that need to be removed for discussion? If not, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Richard to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have additional appropriations. First up, we have Circuit Court additional appropriation.
Mr. President, I move that we approve additional appropriation for the Circuit Court from the general fund of the sum of $30,000 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Dolam, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton to approve the additional appropriation for Circuit Court in the amount of $30,000. Discussion. Good morning, Judge.
I'm here if you have any questions. I'm also Judge Moore that he has a similar question.
Hey, Judge, if you could push the button there.
There
There
we
we
go.
go.
Thank you.
Any questions about the competency evaluations or?
Any questions for
No,
the Judge?
this is something we've talked about before with the evaluations. They just continue to increase the number, therefore the costs continue to increase. And like the judge said, we will see a few more on the agenda today doing kind of the same thing. So we would just appreciate the approval of these requests.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Superior Court 2 appropriation.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the general fund appropriation for Superior Court 2 of $28,800.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Dolam, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton to approve the additional appropriation for Superior Court 2 in the amount of $28,800 for pauper attorney. Discussion.
It's the same issue.
Same-
the
Yep.
same
with
song
the
and dance.
paupers, yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion?
And then-
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have Superior Court 7 additional appropriation.
Mr. President, I move we approve general fund appropriation for Superior Court 7 of $6,000.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Dolam, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton to approve the additional appropriation for Superior Court 7 in the amount of $6,000 for health and medical. Discussion.
Same challenge.
Same challenge.
Yes.
Any further discussion? If there is none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have additional appropriation for CASA.
I'll make a motion that we approve the GAL/CASA Fund 1213 appropriation as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Vernon, a second from Councilman Murray, to approve the additional appropriation for CASA Fund 1213 in the amount of $21,608. Discussion. Good morning.
Hey, Colleen, if you could push the...
Yeah,
Oh.
Colleen.
It's blinking?
There's,
There, okay.
It was blinking. Is it good now? Okay.
it's good now.
Thank you. So this is, as you know, our CASA GAL is the state funding money that we get, and we get our matching grant first, and then
towards the middle of the year, if there's any funds left over, they give a third round. And that third round also is based on the calculation of the number of chins within your community, and then how much money they have left according to, as they allocate it out to the state. I never know what this amount it will be, but this is non-reverting funds, so it does help us get into the next year. As you can see, all of these funds take care of all of our operational needs for our office, and then one of our part-time also. So it changed. This was more than I thought, which is not a good thing. That meant we had more new chins, new children in the system. But so I just allocated it out to get us into 2023.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have Fund 9107 appropriation.
Make a motion that we approve CASA for Kids Grant Fund 9107 appropriation as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Vernon, a second from Councilman Murray to approve the Grant Fund 9107 for CASA in the amount of $22,500. Discussion.
Yes, this is exciting for us. We currently have a vehicle that, we have 3 staff advocates on our staff. These are individuals that take our high-risk cases, and that many of their cases are out of our community. So they're going to visit children that are up. We go as far into Chicago, South Chicago, all the way down to Kentucky, all the way over to Fort Wayne, up to South Bend, up into the region and so forth, so they travel a lot. The first half of this year, they went almost 10,000 miles already, and we currently are driving a 2013 Chevy Cruze that was, graciously, we got it with Paula's help from the assessor's office, I believe. At one point, I think it was assessors. That vehicle has got a lot of mileage on it, and I really would like a safer vehicle for my staff to be on Highway 65 a lot, because that's pretty much the main road they're on. I did work with a gentleman at Subaru here in Lafayette, and we have the opportunity to purchase a 2023 Subaru Crosstrek. And so I did look for grants, as I always try to do for us, and the CASA for Kids Fund has approved they will be giving this grant fund money, and so it can be offset so that we get the vehicle hopefully they think the vehicle will be at the dealership within another 2 to 3 weeks. They think, they're not sure, as we know, if anyone's tried to get a new vehicle.
Okay, any questions for Colleen? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have Grant Fund 4121 appropriation.
I'll make a motion that we approve CASA Donation Fund 4121 appropriation as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Vernon, a second from Councilman Murray, to approve the Fund 4121 appropriation for $7,000. Discussion.
As you can see, this money is just to offset the full cost of the vehicle. What we think the vehicle will be, I have a pretty good idea, but we wanted to be able to have funds available to offset any other fees.
Okay. Any other questions? Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Next, thank you. Next, we have WIC salary statements.
Doug, am I allowed to do all 4 at once?
We probably are, but I guess my recommendation would be to take the 8880s in one batch and the 8882s in the second batch.
Okay, thank you. I'll make a motion, we approve the WIC salary statements, 8880s, as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton, to approve the salary statements for the Fund 8880 for WIC as presented. Discussion. Hi, Alicia.
Hi. The salary statements are for WIC for the federal fiscal year 2023 grant appropriation, which was on the consent agenda.
Okay. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those are approved. 8882 salary statements.
Make a motion, we approve the WIC salary statements out of Fund 8882 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton, to approve the WIC salary statements for Fund 8882 as presented. Discussion.
The same thing, this grant was for, this was on the grant appropriation as well.
Okay.
For-
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the sheriff appropriation.
I'll make a motion that we approve the general fund appropriation for the sheriff as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Vernon, a second from Councilman Murray, to approve the additional appropriation for the sheriff in the amount of $18,164 for overtime.
This is just a reimbursement for salaries from the old click it or take it DUI seatbelt enforcement grant.
Okay. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Fund 8276 for Community Corrections appropriation.
Make a motion, we approve Community Corrections COSAP Grant Fund 8276 as presented.
Second?
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton, to approve the Grant Fund 8276 fiscal year 23 appropriation in the amount of $397,593 for community corrections. Discussion.
This is
Jason.
a grant that runs our pretrial program.
Okay.
Any questions? Happy to answer.
Any questions about pretrial? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have salary statement for the coroner.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2023 salary statement for the coroner, for the deputies up to $25 per call, and for deputies up to $125 per case.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Vernon, second from Councilman Murray, to approve the 2023 salary statement for the coroner, up to 25 per call and 125 per case. Discussion.
This just wasn't clear when we went through budget hearings. I think we missed a line in there. So it's just a clarification for 23 to get that. Because the $25 I don't think was listed, only the, whatever, the 125.
Okay.
And it's the same rate that they've had for at least the last few years I'm aware of.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have Fund 4118 for the Health Department.
Make a motion, we approve the Health Department Donation Fund 4118 for $25.
Second?
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton, to approve the Donation Fund 4118 appropriation for $25. Discussion. Amy.
Whole $25. This is for the World Food Day that we have coming up in November. They've pushed it back now to November 9th, so it's just $25.
Okay. Any discussion?
So it seems like such a small amount. Is there something we could have done differently so that we didn't have to appropriate $25?
No,
Is it just the way we have to do
it needs to be appropriate
it?
before you spend it, and I think this was probably a relatively new donation.
Yeah, it's just an addition to, we have, I think, 4,000, Amanda?
Yeah, it's just not, it's from an actual grant from the state, it's just not added on.
Okay. Okay.
But this is not a grant, this is a donation fund, right?
This was a grant that you guys wanted into the donation account.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That makes it, so we're moving from the grant to the donation. Okay. Now are we clear? Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have Fund 8476, grant appropriation.
Mr. President, I would move that we accept and look at the Fund 4805, the county share of the
You jumped ahead
CERTEC.
of us, John. We still got one more for you.
You're cutting the line.
Good.
That's all right.
Good, I can get prepared then.
All right, I'll make a motion, we approve the HPP and PHEP Base Grant Fund 8476, SF23 in the amount of $25,000.
You're right.
Second?
Okay, I've got a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Hamilton, to approve the grant appropriation for Fund 8476 in the amount of $25,000. Discussion.
This is just for emergency preparedness for Jeff. So trailers, maintenance, help.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Now, John, on to the highway.
I'm scared. Mr. President, I would move that we accept Fund 4805. It's the county share of the surtax fund. We have $500,000 for roads and streets and $800,000 for bridges, with a total sum of $1.3 million.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Basham, a second from Councilman Richard, to approve the county share of the surtax fund 4805 appropriation in the total amount of $1.3 million. Discussion.
Building America is expensive.
Yes, it is.
Most of this has to do with, we have had more paving this year than normal, so we're picking up roads and streets. Some of that's going to be, we picked up some state highway plus some reimbursements for some unofficial local detours. So a lot of that will be picked back up. And then we have a bridge, number 7 on 900 South, that was number 17 on our replacement list. A few weeks ago, it moved up to number 1 when a hole formed in the deck. So we're patching it now and scheduling a superstructure replacement. So that's hitting the bridge fund.
Okay. Any questions for Stu or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have the Fund 4880 revolving fund.
Mr. President, I would move out of Fund 4880 that we, out of the revolving fund of the Highway Department, accept this.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Basham, a second from Councilman Richard, to approve the appropriation from if I can speak, Fund 4880 in the amount of $1.749 million. Discussion.
Thank you. The right-of-way funds are primarily for the improvements in the Subaru area TIF, County Road 450 South, 500 East. There's some pretty big right-of-way purchases there. This covers where we are today with appraisals and offers out. I'll probably be hitting you one more time yet this year to finish those out. And then the $249,000 on the bridges is the final change orders on Bridge 32 on Haggerty, which will be open next month.
Okay, any questions for Stu? Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Grant Fund 9146.
Mr. President, I would move that we, out of Grant 9146, the revolving, or the Indiana American Grant Fund, for $3,500, surveyor.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Basham, a second from Councilman Richard, to approve the Grant Fund 9146 appropriation for the amount of $3,500 for the surveyor. Sharon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Y'all should be proud of the Wonders on the Wabash program. This AWWA reached out to us and wanted to give us funding for this program. So they did award us with $3,500, and that check is in your bank, so please give us permission to spend it.
Any questions for Sharon? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Grant Fund 8668 appropriation.
I'll make a motion that we accept the Area 4 AACAP Grant Fund 8668/532 and PM 23 grant appropriation as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Vernon, and a second from Councilman Murray to approve the grant appropriation with a long slashing bunch of numbers in the amount of $109,855. Sharon, you should just stayed up here.
This is for the rural transportation program that we have, that we're just a pass-through. Again, the feds reached out to us and asked us if we would work with Area 4 on this, so.
Okay. Any questions for Sharon on this one? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that is approved. Next, we have Fund 8903 appropriation.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the FTA/5311 CARES Grant Fund 8903/CF23 grant appropriation is presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Vernon, a second from Councilman Murray to approve the CARES Grant Fund 8903 in the amount of $37,664. Discussion.
And this is Indiana trying to get rid of the funds that they got from the feds, and so it's still CARES money that will get spent as soon as you guys say it's okay.
Okay, any questions for Sharon? Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
I think I'm done.
All right. Next, we have Drug-Free Community Fund, 1148.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Drug-Free Community Fund 1148 appropriation in the amount of $168,397.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Richard, a second from Councilman Basham, to approve the Drug-Free Community Fund 1148 in the amount of $168,397. Discussion.
And this is monies that are collected through some court fees that are put into the Drug-Free Coalition Fund, and now they give grants to various organizations who are helping in the fight for a drug-free Tippecanoe County. So this is just the amount of money that they've collected, and they're now going to distribute to various organizations. Some of it we get. I think the prosecutor gets a little bit of money, and schools and the sort of people like that.
Okay, any questions? Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have Fund 1181.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Plat Book Fund 1181 appropriation in the amount of $50,000.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Richard, a second from Councilman Basham, to approve the Plat Book Fund 1181 appropriation for $50,000. Discussion.
And this is software that we would be using with GIS, and it's an upgrade to what we've been using, the same sort of a software in our office for the parcel layer, and this is just bring us up to where everybody else is. And the Plat Book Fund is fees that are collected when a deed is recorded, and is to maintain the plat books. So this is an appropriate use of this. This is going to take a good chunk out of our Plat Book Fund, but this is the purpose for the Plat Book Fund. So we need to get this brought up to speed, and we've had the same software again for 10, 15, 20 years. So I guess when you do like really zoom into parcels, you may see a little bit of misses on our parcel layer. If you're really zoomed in, it's not going to change anything, any ownership changes, but it's just going to make our plat books in GIS a little bit more accurate.
Okay, any questions for Bob? Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Any committee reports? Other business? Bob, do you want to go over calendar, or at least
This
up
I
there?
just thought of a little bit after the packet was out, and you see this beautifully, professionally done calendar up there, if you can even see it. We have to advertise the council meetings in '23 before '22 ends, so I'm not wanting any action today, but I don't even have a very good highlighter. It doesn't even, I'm even missing some spots up there, but anyway, my little yellow spots are the council meeting days, which is, I assume you want the second Tuesday of each month, and I assume you want 8:30. There are no holidays that conflict with any of the 12 council meetings in '23. And one thing, some more of my little craftsmanship here, that I did not use GIS. This is not, I did this really quickly. My little, my blue squares are what I am assuming potentially you want the budget hearings to be. If we want to have them the same time as we did this year, which was the week leading up to, no, that's not even the week leading up to Labor. Yeah, it is, the week leading up to Labor. I'm going down there to October for some reason. And then I've got September the 5th. This year, we did have that night public hearing the day after Labor Day. If you want that, I don't need any vote or any decision today, but we will put this in the packet next month if you want to look at it and see if that fits into your calendars. And so that's just throwing that out there for you.
Okay. Any questions or discussion on that for now? Any unfinished or new business we need to take care of? Commissioner FYI.
So Jennifer, can you make it a little bit better than that on the calendar? If you haven't heard, the Feast had a wonderful event. Over 46,000 plus came out to the Feast, which is great. And last but not least, a big thank you to Max back here, because this is his last day. So he's heading off to a different, worse area. So he should be staying with us, but we really want to thank Max for everything he's done for our township, or county. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any public comment for us this morning?
I'd like to make something.
Sure.
Mr. President and the board, and about 4 months ago, I made a comment on the SROs, that's school resource officers. I attended a meeting which was well attended the other night and had a lot of information. And I found out we do not have 5 resource officers. We only have 4. And it was a tremendous meeting, had a lot of information, the need for more school officers. The gentleman's name was Aaron Gilman, who leads the newly selected safety management in the school corporations. It had a profound impact on me. There was a lot of good information. So I want to keep it in the forefront that we still need more resource officers. I don't want to go into details, but you say, well, we got them in the high school. Well, also in the lower levels, these resource officers, they take a lot of training, and they're just another parent. They give a lot of advice to these young kids, and you got these younger schools out here. Maybe the younger kids are not getting at each other, but you got parents sitting out there in the parking lot. There's a lot of houses divided, and that just came to my thought. So I want to keep it in the front that we need more resource officers. We only have 4, and there's about 14,000 students. So I want to make that publicly known.
Okay. Thank you, John. Any other public comment? If not, I will take the last motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.